I do have construction being set up. This is East 401 as you approach Nielsen in the Express. They're taking out the right lane, these construction crews. Usually this only causes a delay as they set the cones down. So once they finish putting this construction spot in place, speed should be back up to, speed. If you're traveling through this area, it's a bit slow. Markham Road Express over to Nielsen. And we have this collision approaching, make that east of Port Union in the Express. Looks like in the Express, everything's on the left shoulder now. But again, we're expecting an MTO blocker truck to arrive. They're going to take out the left lane when they get here.
I want a blocker truck.
There is also, there was a vehicle on the right shoulder as part of this. And we had a fire crew arrive east to Port Union. They're on the transfer into the Express, blocking the left lane just for the driver of this transport. A heavy tow is also there. All in all, just a minor delay through this area, but there's crews on both sides of you, so just keep an eye out for anybody walking around. Westbound 401, we got a call from a crew member who's doing some work on the West 401 near Brimley. In the collectors right now, they're holding for a rain delay. Right now, we're not sure if they're going to set up this construction. We do have a crew there on the shoulder, though, so just keep an eye out for the crews in this area, West 401 through Brimley collectors. And then that collision, West 401 approaching the 427 is now cleared. Never did cause much of a delay. Only delay other than the ones I mentioned are 427 northbound, the ramp to West 401. The left lane is blocked with construction, so a bit slow as you head onto that ramp. And also the North Don Valley Parkway from approaching Eglinton up to York Mills. Give more than just a gift card. Give an Oliver and Bonacini experience. O&B gift cards are redeemable at restaurants like Babel, Lenya, and Maison Selby. Visit oliverbonacini.com. Your next report at 9:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Light rain tapers off just after midnight. Temperatures rising to about 9 or 10 degrees near midnight, and then falling back to 3 by the time you wake up in the morning. Watch for the wind. It'll be gusting upwards of 60 to 70 kilometers per hour tonight and tomorrow morning. In fact, the first half of Friday is going to be windy. Lake effect showers mixed with wet flurries expected to the north end of the city as you're driving in tomorrow morning, so leave some extra time for that. More sun through the afternoon. Winds getting lighter late in the day, and temperatures sitting at 3 degrees throughout the afternoon. Tonight, we're down to a low of 3 degrees.
Downtown Toronto, that light rain still falling, 7 degrees. 680
News time, like 9 degrees, but she didn't give the wind chill, but it's going to be 60, 70.
Well, happening now, it is the NHL head coaching debut for Sheldon Keefe. Now, as a player, he once led the OHL in scoring. As a coach, he led the Marlies to a Calder Cup championship. So what can he accomplish as Maple Leafs head coach?
Well, we probably won't know tonight whether the Leafs win or lose in Keefe's debut, but before the game, he was focusing on the positives in a season that has sorely lacked them. 680's Stuart begin with more.
Talk about getting thrown into the fire. He got the job yesterday, took part in his first morning skate, and now his team is already in action against Arizona. So it's just like that. The Leafs closed the door on Mike Babcock and opened the new one for Sheldon Keefe.
I recognize the responsibility and the privilege, and I'm thrilled to have a chance
to they don't win their job,
be a part of it.
Keefe admitting the team's got a lot of work to do and says the focus is on renewing the spirit of the group as they try to dig themselves out of a 6-game losing streak. Kyle Dubas spoke about the coaching change and what it means for the guys on the ice.
They're excited. It's a fresh challenge, and I think they also view it that it's their time to also step up.
Leafs management not outright saying that Mike Babcock had lost the room, but with words like frustration, team spirit, and a loss of belief, you can put those pieces together. I'm Stuart McGinn.
680 News Time, 9:35. Well, it won't affect their extracurriculars, and they'll still receive their report cards. But while students won't yet be directly affected, high school teachers are now set to begin a Work to Rule campaign on Tuesday alongside their elementary school counterparts. 680's Momin Qureshi has more from Queen's Park.
We knew it was a possibility, and as of Tuesday, it will be a reality. Both public elementary and high school teachers will begin a Work to Rule campaign. Harvey Bischoff is the president of the union that represents public high school teachers.
It has no effect on student learning. We won't participate in after-school unpaid staff meetings. We won't provide comments on report cards, but we'll still submit marks.
At this point, things like sports teams and field trips are not affected. Education Minister Stephen
never got a
Lecce
useful
announcing the
comment on
province is making another concession, cutting the number of online classes students have to take from 4 to 2.
And I'm asking
asking for them to reconsider these steps. Children should not have to pay the price for the difference in the table. I believe there is a pathway to get a deal.
At Queen's Park, I'm Omen Qureshi.
Metrolinx apologizing for sending out hundreds of defective Presto cards to riders this week. The Toronto Star reports the 450 cards prompted no response on transit readers when tapped. Metrolinx says the cards were all ordered online and delivered to customers after November 18th. The agency found out about the problem yesterday. Metrolinx says it has already mailed out the new cards, which should arrive in the mail tomorrow.
Toronto police are releasing a second video hoping to learn more about a hit and run that killed a teen in East York more than a month ago. It was back on October 7th that officers were called to the scene near O'Connor and Woodbine. A 16-year-old boy was struck by a vehicle. He was rushed to hospital where he later was pronounced dead. Now, investigators are continuing to look for the SUV that was seen leaving the scene in the aftermath. It's believed to be a dark blue or black Hyundai Santa Fe from the model years 2007 to 2012, which might have front-end damage. Police are warning the public the video they've posted is graphic in nature. You can find it on the 680 app or at 680news.com.
680 News Time 9:37. Starting in the new year, Toronto Police Division Zero enforcement team will be hitting city streets, focusing on high collision locations, community safety zones, and high-speed areas. 680's Mark Douglas joins us from police headquarters with more.
It's going to be small teams of 3 officers and a supervisor going out on dedicated traffic safety patrols wherever they're needed in Toronto. Collision survivor turned safety advocate Jessica Speaker says it's a start, but it's not enough.
This enforcement should not be considered an extra duty performed by police. It is one of the most basic components of any municipal police force.
Why are you stopping
Police
me for
Chief Mark
walking?
Saunders responds.
But I'm not going to say, and I think it's unfair to say this many officers equals that. We can enforce till the cows come home. Things are still going to
But
happen.
you
Mayor
don't.
John Tory says these small
everybody
teams will be
knows.
part of a package deal of traffic safety changes, including what he expects to be the soon-to-be-approved photo radar. At police headquarters, I'm Mark Douglas.
Well, police are once again reminding you when you should and should not call 911. This after a recent call to the emergency line in Peel Region.
Okay, I'm sorry. So you're in a taxi cab and you think you're going to be late for your train ride at Union Station? Yeah, and so what would you like an officer to do?
The woman was wondering if police offered an emergency ride service so that she wouldn't miss her train. Peel Police Constable Sarah Patton says there's a reason why they release calls such as these.
We are
They're
doing it
funny
to
as
educate the
hell, that's
public that
why.
these are not proper ways to use 911.
People reacting to this call on social media.
It would
Among
be
the tweets,
illegal
how
for
does a
me to
grown-up
tell
person
you to
not
call
know what
911 and say
911
those
is actually
things. I'm
for?
not going to say
Boggles the
that
mind.
out loud.
Well, no tour from one of the world's biggest bands in support of their latest album, so they can go greener.
There is no fucking thing about this fucking video. Well, I know where to find. I know where to find it. All the way down at the bottom.
$500 on all qualifying Energy Star appliances with the Ontario Energy Savings Program. Dishwashers, fridges, laundry, and more. Find energy-efficient brands that'll have you feeling like a professor of applianceology. See store for details. Appliance Canada. For your home, for your life. Visit appliancecanada.com for a location near you in Toronto, Vaughan, or Mississauga.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price of gas is going up 2 cents at midnight to just under $1.17 a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather together next.
I don't know why I got more on this side than this side today.
Looking for the best winter vacation deals? Save big with redtag.ca on
This is not a
destinations in
video.
the Caribbean,
This is not a
Mexico, or even Europe. Plus, enjoy
I'm
savings
not
on
reading
cruise
it. You said it
getaways.
was a video.
Book your trip
I'm
now
going
and
to
pay
refuse
for
to
it
read
using
it.
our monthly payment plan. And get Air Miles reward miles on vacation packages. More travel, more savings. Plan your winter getaway today. Restrictions apply.
RedTag.ca. Tanya likes to avoid risks. She's never made a souffle for fear that it won't rise. She won't text her friends because they might not text her back. But she does like investing with HSBC's new GIC offer because there's no risk at all. It's guaranteed to give her 2.15% interest over 12 months. A year from now, she'll spend her returns on some neutral colored furniture. Get 2.15% per annum on a 12-month non-redeemable GIC until December 31st, 2019. Terms apply. Learn more at hsbc.ca/GIC.
680 News Time, 9:41. Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Kyle Hawking.
This report is brought to you by Seneca College. If you're traveling the eastbound 401, another change to this issue east to Port Union in the Express. First of all, we do have this construction approaching Nielsen in the Express. They've now fully set up the construction zone and delays have eased off as predicted in this area. Then east to Port Union Express, the left lane is blocked once again by emergency crews and MTO crews that have arrived on the scene. So there's not much of a delay through there, but you'll see the flashing lights on the way by. We did have an emergency crew on that transfer into the Express, also east to Port Union, dealing with a transport truck that's just a little further along involved in this, but that fire crew's now moved on. So it's just in the express lanes themselves where the left lane is blocked east to Port Union. Westbound 401 moving quite well across the city. It's not too bad. We've got only one spot of construction planned to be set up. That's through Brimley and the collectors, but no delay through this area or anywhere else. 427 northbound, if you're heading on to the westbound 401, that ramp is down to a single lane, so you'll notice it's very slow as you approach the 401 in the express and onto that west 401 ramp. We've also got a bit of lingering volume on the Don Valley Parkway northbound, approaching Eglinton to York Mills. No problems on the southbound DVP. And westbound Gardner looks good, but the eastbound Gardner once again slowing through that construction zone long-term east of York over to Cherry. At Seneca's open house, you'll meet more than students, professors in the campus. You'll meet your future, too. Visit Seneca November 23rd. Details at senecacollege.ca. Your next report at 9:51, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsarhai.
Showers will be ending here just after midnight. Winds are going to be gusty up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. So don't be alarmed if you're sleeping. It may wake you up out of your sleep. We've got some winds continuing, though, through that morning commute, and mainly cloudy skies to start off the day, even lake effect showers mixed with wet flurries. So leave some extra time for your commute if you're driving in from the north in the morning. The winds gradually easing late in the afternoon. That will shut off the lake effect precipitation, bring in a little bit more sunshine. Temperatures steady near 2 or 3 degrees through the day. Saturday morning, it's going to feel like -7 as you wake up, but mainly sunny and a high near 6 degrees. Tonight, we are down to a low of 3 degrees.
Downtown Toronto this hour, light rain and 8 degrees, 7 at Pearson Airport. 680 News Time, 9:43.
Still to come on 680 News. The Prime Minister is open to improving environmental laws that have caused tensions in the West. The news comes as Justin Trudeau sat down with his new cabinet, as well as the mayors of Calgary and Vancouver.
680 News Time, 9:44.
Hi, I'm Maureen Holloway. Snow, rain, sleet, and when you're lucky, sunshine. Bring it all on.
And then what
Don
else?
Valley North
That was
Toyota
like the
can
intro
get
to
you
a
ready
bad
for it.
joke,
Right now,
buddy.
get
They
lease rates
sat
as low as
down and nothing.
0.49% or finance rates as low as 0% on select 2019 models. Plus, cash saving incentives up to $8,000 on other select models. Don Valley North Toyota brings the sunshine. You just bring your sense of adventure. It's time to Toyota. Deals just east of the 404.
At Lowe's, we have everything you need for your renos for less.
My dream kitchen has a stainless steel sink with a touchless faucet, a 6-burner stove, and a robot chef who cooks for my in-laws when they show up unannounced.
Well, just about everything. Until Monday, it's pre-Black Friday at Lowe's. Save 15 to 20% when you spend $100 or more. Plus, with Price Match, get an extra 10% off if you find a lower price. Conditions apply. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Some light rain showers. It's 8 degrees, feeling like 5 with the wind. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Asher Roth.
I'm Scott Burnett.
Yeah, so what's 9 going to feel like?
The
A 60
stumbling
kilometer
bugs
an
get
hour
the
wind?
boost
That's
they
going to be
need with a new
negative
coach in
something.
the driver's seat. We will soon find out, and we're finding out right now as Sheldon Keefe makes his debut behind the bench of the big club. Brent Gunning will have the details on the game in moments. Police have released released a second video of a disturbing hit and run that happened over a month ago near Woodbine and O'Connor. Police believe the driver intentionally struck a 16-year-old boy who later died in hospital. You can find that video at 680news.com. We warn you, it is graphic in nature. And yet another reminder from police not to abuse the 911 emergency line. Peel Police have released a tape of a woman asking them to help her get to Union Station faster so that she would not miss her train. You can find that tape on 680news.com. Time now for 680 Sports, and from Sportsnet.
You're drunk driving and call 911. They call you a good person.
The Leafs finally scored first, and the goal scorer getting a serious monkey off his back.
Yeah, that's right. Tyson Barrie, he was an off-season acquisition. He was expected to make the Leafs power play sing. He was looking for his first goal as a Leaf, that is, until a couple of minutes ago.
Kessel loses it. Back to the point for Mikheyev. Over on the far side, Barrie. Barrie bringing it to the net. He scores! Tyson Barrie!
That gives the Leafs a 1-0 lead. That's where it stands at the end of the first period. Watch it on Sportsnet or listen on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. The Colts have T.Y. Hilton back tonight in the Thursday nighter, but it's not helping them. The Texans lead 10-7 at the half, thanks to a DeAndre Hopkins touchdown late in the second quarter. And Canada is through to the semifinals of the Davis Cup thanks to a 2-1 win over Australia. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Timmins Hit, now on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590 The Fan. 680 News Time, 947.
Every day in Canada, 3,000 mortgages renew. Mortgage rates are falling. Important announcement. If your mortgage renews in the next 90 days, contact butlermortgage.ca. 2.38%, 5-year fixed rate at renewal. No gimmicks, no fees. It's the same mortgage as your bank. If you qualify, you save thousands. 2.38%, 5-year fixed mortgage rate at butlermortgage.ca.
License number 12118. High ratio fixed rate transfers. APR of 2.39%.
Discount travel sites say they have the best prices, but Hilton.com has the price match guarantee. Look me in the eye. If you find a better rate, they match it and take 25% off. Yeah, well, this is radio, so just stare at the radio. Hilton.com has the best prices. Pinky swear. Or, radio swear. Plus, you can choose your exact room and get free Wi-Fi. Cross my heart, stick a needle in my radio. Expect better. Expect Hilton.
Must be a Hilton Honors member. Applicable terms and conditions at Hilton.com. Pinky swear.
680 News Time, 948.
2 new cases of probable vaping-related illnesses have been reported at a pair of Ontario hospitals. The new reports came after the province regulated back in September that any cases be reported to the Ministry of Health.
This is Canadian healthcare saying this.
Patients treated in hospital have since been discharged,
American doctor,
and there's no word on the severity of their symptoms. These new cases come as health officials have confirmed a near-fatal vaping-related illness in London, which meets Health Canada's definition of a severe pulmonary-related illness. Stateside, Massachusetts lawmakers have approved a ban on flavored vaping and tobacco products.
Massachusetts lawmakers have passed a groundbreaking ban on the sale of flavored tobacco and vaping products, including menthol cigarettes. The bill would also place a 75% excise tax on vaping products and require health insurers to cover tobacco cessation counseling. Republican Governor Charlie Baker hasn't indicated whether or when he will sign the ban, but its chances are good. In September, he declared a public health emergency and ordered a temporary ban on the sale of vaping products. I'm Shelley Adler.
Back here at home, one day after naming his new inner circle, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is putting Western alienation in focus. He also addressed points of friction as he met with the mayors of Calgary and Vancouver earlier today. 680's Cormac McSweeney has more from the capital.
Growing the economy in ways that works for everyone.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is open to improving a pair of laws that ban oil tanker traffic off the BC coast and set strict new environmental assessments for major infrastructure projects. His new environment minister clarifies they won't be changing the legislation itself, but are consulting on the regulations to enforce those laws. The energy sector believes the laws are too restrictive, and Calgary Mayor Naheed Nenshi sees this as a positive sign, but notes we haven't seen any action yet.
I'm not going to get hung up on the parliamentary procedure of the whole thing. I'm hung up on the results.
Vancouver Mayor Kennedy Stewart says he focused on important issues around housing and the opioid crisis, and vented about leaders in Alberta stoking separation fears.
Get over yourselves, get down to work, help your residents.
Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
In 60 seconds, traffic with Kyle, weather with Natasha, including the extended forecast.
680 News Time, 950.
What will your winter vacation sound like this year?
Will not give me the fucking wind chill, man.
Wherever
Wherever
I
you're
thought I'm
heading,
too high to
be
fucking
sure
see
to
it.
pack
I just read
CAA
that
travel
5 fucking
insurance.
times. It does
From
not
helping
give
you
me
find the nearest hospital to paying emergency medical
I need a
expenses up
wheelchair
front,
application.
CAA travel insurance lets you travel worry-free.
Google,
Plus,
tell me the
CAA
program
members
due
save
for this
10%. So get a quote today before you hear this. CAA, making bad days good and good days better. Terms and conditions apply. CAA travel insurance is underwritten by Orion Travel Insurance Company.
Introducing Festival in downtown Vaughan. Live, laugh, and play in the new South VMC. Festival, it's a celebration. A Memphis Quadrille community. Register at
30 to 50 to 60 to 70.
festivalsouthvmc.com.
I'm going to just put 70.
680 News Time 951. With his eye on your drive, it's Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by the Gardner. If you're traveling the eastbound 401, we have problems east of Port Union in the Express. The left lane blocked by crews as they deal with the crash that's on the shoulder. Wasn't causing a delay just moments ago, but now all of a sudden it is. Bunching up just a little bit on the way by. East 401 just slow east for a short stretch east of Port Union in the express lanes because of this crash. Collector lanes are moving just fine through here. That's your only problem on the eastbound 401. Westbound 401's up to speed across the city. There is a ramp issue on the 427 northbound. The ramp to the westbound 401, left lane's blocked on that ramp with construction, so it is bunched up on that ramp as you try to come off the 427 northbound and head on to the westbound 401. We have a bit of volume on the North Don Valley Parkway approaching Eglinton up to York Mills. Southbound DVP's moving well, and once again, the eastbound Gardner's moving it's moving through downtown at a good pace. It was slowing through that long-term construction zone toward the east end of the Gardner, but now it's moving fine through there. The westbound Gardner is also in good shape. No other problems on the rest of our highways. Hire the Gardner to clear your snow. Enjoy unlimited snow removal all winter. Get a quote in less than 60 seconds at hirethegardner.com. That's hirethegardner.com. Your next report at 10:01, and with the extended forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Temperatures are on the rise. We will actually peak near 9 or 10 degrees at midnight, but then falling rapidly back down to 3 degrees by the time you wake up in the morning. It's going to be rainy this evening and then windy overnight, up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour out of the west-northwest, and that will likely bring in some lake effect showers mixed with wet flurries for that morning commute. Leave some extra time if you're driving in from York, Durham, Caledon, anywhere through the traditional snow belts to the north. And then the afternoon will be sunnier. The winds will ease late in the day. Temperatures sit near 3 degrees. Saturday, it's going to be mainly sunny with a high of 6 degrees, but we do increase the clouds late in the day. That will lead to some showers overnight Saturday into Sunday morning. Also watch for a rain-snow mix-up over higher elevations early Sunday. Otherwise, on and off showers with a high near 5 degrees. Tonight, we are down to a low of 3 degrees.
Downtown Toronto right now, light rain and 8 degrees, similar conditions at Pearson Airport.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Walmart.
Walmart knows diabetes. If you have questions about managing your blood sugar, risk factors, or diabetes medications, ask your Walmart pharmacist. This message is brought to you by Sandoz.
Coming up at 10 o'clock, the Sheldon Keefe era is underway, and he's already fixed Tyson Barrie, at least for now. Our Stuart McGinn will tell you what the Leafs' new head coach had to say before his NHL debut behind the bench, and we'll check in with our Momin Qureshi, who will let you know which teachers are planning a Work to Rule campaign starting next week and how that will affect your kids.
680 News Time 954.
Looking for a way to stand out on the road? The best in luxury performance SUVs just got better. The 2020 Jaguar S-Pace and Jaguar E-Pace have arrived. For a limited time, use the 2020 Jaguar S-Pace for $548 per month for 42 months with $6,000 down at 3.9%. Visit your Greater Toronto Area Jaguar authorized retailer today for details. Hurry, offer ends December 2nd.
Winter in Toronto. Season of freezing, bitter cold. Slushy, messy, slippery, slow commutes. When you need to know the latest winter traffic and weather, trust 680 News. We know winter in Toronto. Traffic and weather every 10 minutes on the ones. This is 680 News.
I know what knots are. I don't know how to convert them to kilometers. I just got used to kilometers.
Premier Doug Ford says his government is still working toward its commitment to an open cannabis retail system and that more stores will be opening in the new year. The government had initially said there would be no cap on the number of retail pawn shops, but a supply shortage prompted the Tories to move to a lottery system and to cap the number of stores. The government is now looking to scrap the lottery system and move towards open allocation as early as January. Your business report is 1 minute away.
680 News Time 9:55.
Prostate 1 from Afocal, a once-a-day traditional herbal medicine for men suffering from symptoms of enlarged prostate,
and they
such
still
as urination and sexual dysfunction. Prostate 1 from Afocal. Feel and perform your best. Prostate 1, wherever natural health products are sold.
We need a mortgage, but we don't have a 20% down payment.
No problem. At Meridian, we can help.
Ooh, she said we don't have 20%.
I said we can help. Our 5-year fixed high-ratio mortgage at 2.49% helps you buy a home with the money you have now.
A high-ratio mortgage applies with a down payment of less than 20% of the purchase price on a home. 2.49% APR assumes the typical example of a new mortgage. Rates subject to change without notice. Some restrictions apply. Apply today at meridianmortgages.ca or visit a Meridian branch. Prostate 1 from Afocal, a once-a-day traditional herbal medicine for men suffering from symptoms of enlarged prostate, such as frequent urination and sexual dysfunction. Prostate 1 from Afocal. Feel and perform your best. Prostate 1, wherever natural health products are sold.
680 News Time 9:56.
Now the 680 Business Report is Richard Southern.
A very good evening to you. Another push is on in the United States to legalize cannabis on a federal level. A U.S. congressional committee passed legislation to decriminalize the drug, taking a step closer to it being approved by the democratically controlled House of Representatives, though it may face opposition in the Senate and indeed in the Oval Office. It's news, though, that push cannabis stocks way up on Main Street today. Greg Taylor with Purpose Investments.
Yeah, and this would be essentially the third bill that's working its way through the U.S. political process that's all really with the goal of legalizing cannabis in the next few years. And I think that just shows that the pendulum's swinging way towards getting it done, and everything's in motion for it. So it does feel like everyone has decided that let's go. It's a bipartisan supported bill, and I think it's just a matter of time when it happens, and that's going to change momentum and get sentiment going, and that's certainly going to be a benefit for the sector.
Shares of Aurora up to $4.14, a 15% jump for Canopy Growth up to $27.03, and Kronos closing at $10.11. TSX, though, was down 6 points as the price of gold fell down to 1,463 U.S. dollars the ounce. The Dow was down 54 points, 27,766. S&P down 4 points, and the Nasdaq down 20. With some earnings in after the close, Macy's, the U.S. department store chain, cutting its profit and sales expectations, very much reflective, we think, of the decline in mall traffic, which we're seeing both in the United States and Canada. Clothing retailer Gap jumped in the after-hours trade after its interim leader promised to fix operational issues and promised to spin off Old Navy, promised to stick with those plans to spin off Old Navy. Canadian dollar on the move higher, up to 75.31 cents U.S. All the day's top stories of traffic and weather just 1 minute away on 680 News. Obstacles and mortgages go together like first dates and spaghetti. Especially if you've been through a bankruptcy, consumer proposal, or debt settlement. Remember the name Duga. Jaspreet Duga and his team have options for you. Alternative mortgages, private mortgages. Jaspreet Duga works for you, not the lenders. So you get the best terms and rates. Get started today at dugamortgages.ca. That's DHUGGA mortgages.ca. And tear down those obstacles. License 12880.
Need jackets, t-shirts, hats, and hoodies with your logo fast? I'm Jazz Brar, president of Entropy.com. We put your logo on thousands of products fast. No one can do 5-day order completion like we do and offer 24-hour rush service on top of that. All work is done in-house, and we take orders from quantities as low as just 1 to hundreds of thousands. Start now at Entropy.com. That's ENTRIPY.com. Use promo code RADIO for 10% off.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for kidneycar.ca. Your old car can help support life-changing medical research. Don't let it sit in your driveway forever. Your car has a higher calling. Donate at kidneycar.ca.
Aurora, overcast and 6 degrees. Vaughan, overcast and 7. Oshawa, overcast and 5. And in downtown Toronto right now, we've got some light rain showers. It's 8 degrees, feeling like 5. Michael Gibbons is the evening show editor. Zahir Hashimi's at the audio desk. This is CFTR 680 News at 10 o'clock.
That doesn't add up to
For breaking news.
traffic and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Scott Burnett and Asher Rock.
It is Thursday, November 21st. Good evening.
And good evening. Here's what's making news right now.
It's a breath of fresh air in Leafs land.
I'm not focused on what this team isn't. I'm focused on what this team is.
The first day on the new job, a busy one for head coach Sheldon Keefe.
As of Tuesday, public elementary and high school teachers are launching a limited work to rule campaign as contract talks with the province become a little testy.
Graphic video of a hit and run in East York last month that killed a 16-year-old boy has been released in hopes of jogging the memory of any witnesses.
2 new cases of possible vaping-related illnesses have surfaced here in Ontario, bringing the total to 11.
Tyson Barrie scores in the first period for the Leafs. They lead the Coyotes after 1, while Week 12 in the NFL starts up in Houston. Sports at 15.
Google moves to ban deepfakes. Pot stocks go parabolic on Bay. The Dow in the red, business at 26.
680 News Time, 10:01.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. First up, the traffic center. We say good evening, Carling Donahue.
Good evening, Scott and Asher. This report brought to you by By Design Office Movers. It's not the worst situation out there on the major routes right now. Eastbound on the 401, approaching Nielsen and the Express. We do have a right lane closed for some construction. Not seeing any delays at this time. East of Port Union in the Express, there is a left lane taken out due to a collision. Emergency crews have set up there, and it's just a bit of a visual distraction right now. The delays have pretty much cleared. Everything's moving fine past that collision, so not too much to worry about there. Westbound 401 at Brimley and the Collectors, we have a left lane shut down at Brimley. The transfer from the Express to Collector is missing a left lane. No delays in that area at all. And then we have the Avenue ramps to the westbound 401 shut down at this time. Westbound on the 407, the ramp to the 427 has a left lane closed off. Northbound DVP, we're just seeing some delays right now approaching Eglinton to York Mills. It's simply volume related. Southbound on the 400 at Dunlop, a right lane is shut down for maintenance. And then taking a look northbound on the 427, the ramp to the westbound 401, we have a left lane closed off for some construction there. That is what's causing those delays. They have lightened up just a bit, but it's pretty much just coming off the northbound 427 onto the westbound 401 ramp. It's just that ramp that's pretty jammed up at this time. Northbound on the 410 at the 401 and the Express, a left lane closed. If you're traveling Toronto bound on the QEW over the Burlington Skyway, 2 right lanes are shut down for some construction. And then eastbound QEW, we've got the Ford Drive ramps to the highway closed off at this time. Corporate moving is the worst, so get By Design to do it for you. From storage to installing workstations, even hanging pictures. They do everything. Visit ByDesignOfficeMovers.com. Your next report, 10:11 with your forecast. Here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Light rain tapering off just after midnight. The winds are going to be picking up tonight. Gusts of 60 to 70 kilometers per hour out of the west, especially as we approach midnight and into the morning commute. You're standing out at the bus stop. Hold on to your hats and leave some extra time if you're driving in from the north tomorrow for lake effect showers, but mixed with wet flurries at times. As the wind eases late in the day, we will shut off that lake effect precipitation, bring out a little bit more sunshine, and temperatures steady near 3 degrees. Tonight we are down to a low of 3 degrees.
Right now in downtown Toronto, some light rain showers. It is 8 degrees, and at Pearson Airport, identical conditions. 680 News Time, 10:04.
Happening now, it's still early in the tenure of Sheldon Keefe as the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. One period in specifically, but so far so good. The Buds up 1-0 in Arizona as the second period just underway, and just a day after Mike Babcock was let go.
680 Stuart McGinn joins us with what we can expect for the future of the boys in the blue and white.
All you have to do is picture more pot shops in aim of eventually eliminating the black market. The Ford government says they want more retail.
Oh, shit. What just happened?
And that's not the Maple Leafs, but we'll get back to Stuart in just a moment. 680 News Time, 10:04. Starting Tuesday, Ontario's public high school teachers say they'll begin a limited work to rule campaign in the hopes of getting what they need from the province at the bargaining table. Here's 680's Momin Qureshi.
It's a step we knew could be coming. Come Tuesday, public elementary and high school teachers will launch a limited work to rule campaign.
There will be no interruption to the school day. We are not intending to slow people's access to work sites or schools down.
So far, things like sports teams and field trips are not affected. Earlier in the day, Education Minister Stephen Lecce announcing the province is making another concession, cutting the number of online classes kids are required to take from 4 to 2.
So my hope is today's announcement will help move the yardstick Classic 4.
But Harvey Bischoff, president of the union that represents public high school teachers, says Lecce should be making those kinds of concessions at the bargaining table, not through the media.
It's just a backward approach.
At Queen's Park, I'm Omen Qureshi.
680 News Time, 10:05.
Wow, they get mad and
Police have taken the rare
funny
step of
ways
releasing a
that works,
disturbing
yeah.
video of an alleged intentional hit and run that killed a 16-year-old boy. The video posted to YouTube shows two people running from an SUV driving on a sidewalk near Woodbine and O'Connor on October the 7th. The vehicle then strikes one of the teens from behind and runs him over. Police say the video suggests the crash was intentional and are releasing the clip, hoping it will jog the memories of any witnesses. Now, the SUV is described as a dark blue or black 2007 to 2012 Hyundai Santa Fe and may have front-end damage. Police say the victim's mother agreed to make that video public. You can find it at 680news.com.
Toronto Police will get more officers to help crack down on bad drivers. The Vision Zero enforcement team will focus on high collision locations, community safety zones, and high-speed areas. 680's Mark Douglas with more from police headquarters.
The Toronto Police Services Board has said yes to Vision Zero traffic safety enforcement teams, but the teams will be small, and for some safety advocates, it's only a start.
3 officers on the streets between 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. at a time across the whole city of Toronto, and only on weekdays is not good enough.
Police Chief Mark Saunders says it's unfair to say this many officers equals that, adding, quote, "We can enforce until the cows come home. Things are still going to happen," unquote. Mayor John Tory says the new teams can make an impact in conjunction with other initiatives, including photo radar.
So I think it's a package deal. I think we're doing a lot of different things, and we'll keep doing more things as required to get us to where we want to be, which is 0 deaths and serious injuries.
The new patrols can begin as early as January at police headquarters. I'm Mark Douglas.
The province's tally of possible vaping-related illnesses has now climbed to 11. 2 new reports were revealed by a pair of Ontario hospitals following a provincial mandate in September for any of these cases to be reported to the Ministry of Health. According to the CBC, the Health Ministry is not revealing the age of the victims or the severity of their symptoms for privacy-related reasons. The reports come as health officials linked a near-fatal vaping-related illness involving a London teen to Health Canada's definition of a severe pulmonary illness.
Quebec facing a shortage of propane, and prairie farmers are worried about their crops because of the strike at CN Rail. There are calls for Parliament to reconvene to legislate the workers back, but Transport Minister Marc Garneau says they want negotiations to solve the matter, and mediators are working on that.
We believe that collective mediation is the proper way to find a solution, and the quickest way, in fact, to get everything back to work. And we're working very closely to try to find that solution.
More than 3,000 members of the Teamsters Canada Rail
Conference
walked off the job on Tuesday after the union and CN Rail failed to reach a contract.
680 News Time, 10:08. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau appears to be offering a compromise for frustrations in the West as he sat down for meetings today with his new cabinet, as well as the mayors of the 2 largest cities in Western Canada. 680's Cormac McSweeney has more from Ottawa.
The Prime Minister is having some frank and open conversations about the West. Calgary Mayor Naheed Nenshi says he's receiving positive signs in his push to change the environmental assessment process for major projects and to amend the law banning tanker traffic off the BC coast.
He said that he is interested in improving the system.
But Environment Minister John Wilkinson clarifies they're not changing the laws themselves.
I'm claiming my right to fish there. You're fucking both out of the way. My net just has to go across the whole thing.
Meanwhile, the mayor of Vancouver, Kennedy Stewart, dismisses Alberta separation talk, saying they should get over themselves and focus on issues like housing and the opioid epidemic.
People want action, and they want it now. I have a housing crisis. I have people dying every day.
Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
This new segment was brought to you by Royal Lighting. In 30 seconds, we'll check on the price of the pumps.
680 News Time, 10:09.
This
you go back to handing out the scripts to people, and then they wouldn't be shooting up fake drugs.
Once a year 12-page holiday flyer sale loaded with massive savings on thousands of gorgeous styles of chandeliers, floor and
complaining about how much money that costs. The fucking complaining how much it costs to pick up their bodies.
Every flyer item in stock ready to take home. Visit our showroom and shop our 12-page flyer now. Royal Lighting's professional staff
what they're doing. They're
Choose
getting
the
fucking
perfect
sense.
lighting style for your beautiful home.
Everything
Roy
else.
Lighting.
They have the license to sell weed and lost $40 million. How the fuck did they do that?
Today's gas price update.
Collect tax and still lost money.
2 cents at midnight to $1.16.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather next. 680 News
The
Time.
US dollar and the price of a liter of gas has not changed in fucking 3 or 4 fucking weeks.
And a negotiation-free
The cocaine dealers own all the gas stations and the money exchange place. They must.
Fast keeps things simple.
I noticed what it is. These guys are sitting around the table one day saying, fuck all this math. We'll just, right now, we'll just do it always 75 cents to $1.
Learn more about how
$1.15,
FAF
and
makes
that's just
buying
how
a
it's
car
going to be.
easier at
It's got to be legal.
FAF for the love of
The
the road.
government couldn't do
Being
that.
an entrepreneur means finding partners who align with my business vision and my values. And with the help of BDC, I've succeeded in building a solid company that I can really be proud of.
At BDC, being the only bank exclusively devoted to entrepreneurs means fully understanding our client's vision. So when we help you build your business, it's a business we can both be proud of.
Go further with BDC. BDC. Financing, advising, smarts.
Are you fucking serious? You're going to advertise to me, but tell me nothing, huh?
News Time 10:11. Traffic and weather together on the ones. First up, the traffic center with Carolyn Donahue.
This report brought to you by Seneca. Well, the construction's beginning to pick up a little bit on the westbound 401. Right now, Markham Road and the Express, the right lane is shut down for maintenance. We do have at Brimley in the collectors, a left lane closed off. At Brimley, the transfer from the Express to the collector does have a left lane closed as well. And then when you reach Avenue in the collectors, you're going to find 2 right lanes blocked off for maintenance. We have a number of ramp closures as well. So Avenue, Allen, Dufferin, and Keel ramps all coming onto the westbound 401 are shut down at this time. There's also no access to the southbound Allen coming off of the highway. Eastbound 401 in a lot better shape, just approaching Nielsen in the Express, a right lane is closed. And then we've had that collision just east of Port Union in the Express. That has just cleared. Crews have moved on out of that area, so that is all good to go there in the Express lanes. Northbound DVP, we're still seeing some delays from approaching Eglinton to York Mills. It's just volume related. And then if you're southbound on the 400 at Dunlop, you're going to find a right lane closed. Northbound 427, the ramp to the westbound 401 is jammed up at this time, and that is just because of a left lane being closed off. The delays are shrinking every time we check those, so that's getting a little bit better there. Northbound on the 410 at the 401 in the Express, a left lane closed. Toronto bound QEW over the Burlington Skyway, 2 right lanes are blocked off for maintenance. And then eastbound QEW at Ford Drive, 2 right lanes are blocked off. And we've got the Ford Drive ramps to the highway closed as well. Then east of Dixie to the 427, a left lane is taken out through that stretch. Attending an open house that will open doors, challenge accepted. Visit Seneca's open house on November 23rd at one of their 5 campuses. Your next report coming up at 10:21, and with your forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Temperatures dropping to a low of 3 degrees tonight after we peak at around 9 or 10 degrees. That's around midnight. And once we fall to 3 degrees, we are going to sit there all day long tomorrow. Now, this rain will taper off just after midnight, but the winds are going to be the next bigger story here. Out of the west, gusting upwards of 60 to 70 kilometers per hour tonight and tomorrow morning. In fact, the first half of tomorrow is windy, and that could drive in some lake effect showers mixed with wet flurries to the north to start off Friday. More sun through the afternoon with that. Late day temperature sitting right around 2 or 3 degrees. Saturday morning's wind chill -7. It'll be mainly sunny, increasing late day cloud with a high near 6. Tonight we are down to a low of 3 degrees.
Right now at Pearson Airport, some light rain showers, 8 degrees, feeling like 4 when you factor in the wind. And in downtown Toronto, similar conditions and identical temperature. 680 News Time, 10:13.
This just into 680 News. Peel Police investigating a stabbing in Brampton. It happened at Main Street and Nanwood Drive, south of Queen. No word yet on the extent of the victim's injuries. Stay with 680 News for the latest. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll recap your top stories, including seeing how the Leafs are doing with their new head coach.
680 News Time, 10:14.
Thanks for calling 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This is Sarah. How can I help?
You know why they call it Black Friday, don't you?
No. Why do they call it Black Friday?
Because you're about to go out and buy a whole bunch of new things, and there's no place to put them because the house is already stacked to the rafters with junk.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
I know! Why do you think I'm calling?
We're on our way.
Black Friday, here it comes!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Black Friday has arrived, and so have the epic savings. During the Lazy Boy Black Friday blowout sale, our prices are slashed, and everything's on sale. Plus, in the tradition of Black Friday, we're taking savings over the top. Scratch and save up to 25% off your entire purchase, including clearance. You don't want to miss it.
Live life comfortably. Lazy Boy. Scratch and save up to 25% at Lazy Boy's Black Friday sale. But hurry in, the sale ends soon.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
We've got light rain and 8 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Scott Burnett.
And I'm Asher Roth. Here are the top stories this hour.
So far, so good. Sheldon Keefe making his NHL coaching debut this hour in Arizona. A period and a half in to be specific. Keefe taking the Maple Leafs reins from Mike Babcock, who was let go by the team yesterday. Game details coming up in sports straight ahead. Ontario's public high school teachers saying work to rule will begin on Tuesday alongside their elementary counterparts as talks continue. And the mother of a 16-year-old boy who was targeted in a hit and run in East York last month, hoping video of his death may help jog the memories of any witnesses. The video not for the faint of heart. You can see it on the 680 app or at 680news.com. Well, it's time for 680 Sports. And for that, we go to Sportsnet 590 fan and Brent Gunning.
Thank you, Scott. Plenty of changes for the Leafs tonight. Not only is there a new head coach, but Alex Kerfoot is back in the lineup. Tyson Barrie, he also remembered how to score, scoring his first goal as a Leaf to give them a 1-0 lead in Arizona. That is still the score in the second. You can watch on Sportsnet or listen on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. The early wave of games coming to a close. The Panthers score 5 straight in a 5-4 win over the Ducks. The Islanders are 4-3 overtime winners over the Penguins, while Boston pick up a 3-2 win at home over the Sabres. Canada is moving on to the semifinals of the Davis Cup thanks to a 2-1 win over Australia, and the Colts have just taken a 17-10 lead over the Texans in the third quarter of the Thursday nighter. Sports 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590 The Fan. 680 News Time 10:17.
The winter sales event is on at Mercedes-Benz Durham, with exclusive offers on 2020 and remaining 2019 models. Financing from 0.9%, cash credits up to $20,000, and 3 payments waived on select models. And existing Mercedes-Benz customers receive up to an additional 2% lease or finance rate reduction. Mercedes-Benz Durham, 2019 Star Dealer, 20 minutes east of the DVP. Part of the Zaken Auto Group.
There's a reason you look people in the eyes when you shake their hand. A reason you don't like being late for meetings and hate missing deadlines. It's why you put your customers first and pick your partners wisely. Because you know, in business, reputation is everything. Trust your reputation to FedEx for all of your international shipping needs. Express, ground, and freight. Visit FedEx.ca/reason. FedEx, connecting people and possibilities.
680 News Time, 10:18.
The Toronto Catholic District School Board has launched a review into a controversial comment made by its vice chair 2 weeks ago during a lengthy board meeting on November 7th to discuss the board's code of conduct. Michael Del Grande tied debate over LGBTQ issues to bestiality, pedophilia, and cannibalism. Today, the board's chair and director issued a statement saying over the last few days they had numerous written and verbal complaints from students, parents, staff, community members who are calling for action. Del Grande claims he wasn't serious about his comments, and they weren't meant to be taken literally. Israel's Attorney General has formally charged Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in a series of corruption scandals. Here's ABC's Tom Rivers.
Allegations against Netanyahu include suspicion that he accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of champagne and cigars from billionaire friends, that he was offered to trade favors with a newspaper publisher, that he used his influence to help a wealthy telecom magnate in exchange for favorable coverage on a popular news site.
Netanyahu has denied any wrongdoing and says he is a victim of a witch hunt. General Motors recalling more than 640,000 Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500 pickup trucks. It says hot gas from a high-tech seat belt can set the carpet on the floorboards on fires. GM says 2 fires have been reported, but no one has been injured. The recall is for 2019 and 2020 model trucks. Ontario's divisional court striking down a measure by the Ford government that allowed post-secondary students to opt out of paying for certain services. Those include student-led programs such as clubs and newspapers. The province's Student Choice Initiative was announced in January and met with opposition from student unions who argued it was politically motivated. The groups were able to point to a PC fundraising email from Ford where he said he had stopped student unions from engaging in, quote, crazy Marxist nonsense by making the fees optional. The province argued the initiative was designed to give students more control over their money. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones.
680 News Time, 10:20.
Okay, stop. For the best appliance deal ever, come into Gomez today. You'll save up to 25% on all Eco appliances. Yep, that's 25% off on top of manufacturer rebates and promotions. Pricing on most Bosch dishwashers are lower than, well, they've ever been. Energy savings rebate by the Government of Canada. Visit Gomez.com for details.
Here's to spending holiday time with family and not letting financial stress get in the way. Here's to getting the loan you need and taking control of your finances. At Easy Financial, we can help when banks aren't an option this holiday season with loans up to $35,000. Plus, from November 18th to 23rd, get no interest on the last 6 months of your loan. Apply online in minutes at easyfinancial.com or over 300 locations. Conditions apply.
I can't type those keywords into Google.
Better tomorrows.
680 News Time, 10:21.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Colleen W.
This report is brought to you by Sisley for Honda. If you're traveling on the westbound 401, that's where the bulk of their construction is this evening. We will start with Markham Road in the Express. There's a right lane shut down for construction. At Brimley and the Collectors, just a left lane closed off there. The Brimley transfer from Express to Collector has a left lane shut down as well. At Avenue Road in the Collectors, 2 right lanes are blocked off for maintenance. We've got the Avenue, Allen, Dufferin, and Keel ramps coming onto the highway, all shut down at this time. The ramp to the southbound Allen is also closed coming off the westbound 401. Eastbound 401 approaching Nielsen in the Express, you've got a right lane closed off for maintenance. And other than that, eastbound 401 is moving just fine at this time. Northbound on the DVP, just some small delays right now, pretty much between Eglinton and York Mills. It's on and off in how heavy it is, but right now it's getting a little bit better. Southbound on the 400 at Dunlop, you've got a right lane shut down. Northbound 427 ramp to westbound 401, a left lane is shut down there. We're seeing just some delays on the ramp itself. They were backed up more than that earlier, but right now it's just on the ramp there. Northbound 410 at the 401 and the Express, a left lane is closed. Toronto-bound QEW over the Burlington Skyway, 2 right lanes are blocked off for maintenance. And then if you're going eastbound on the QEW, at Ford Drive, there's 2 right lanes closed off. We've got the Ford Drive ramps to the eastbound QEW shut down. And then from east of Dixie to the 427, a left lane is closed through that stretch. Sisley Honda wants your family to love your car. Drop by 88 Steeles Avenue, just west of Yonge. Sisley Honda, they're family driven. Your next report, 10:31 with your forecast, Natasha Ramsahai.
A few millimeters of rain falling this evening and ending just past midnight, but the wind is going to be picking up. You're going to feel it out of the west, gusting upwards of 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. Still very gusty through the first half of Friday, and that same wind will likely bring in some lake effect showers mixed with flurries to the north end of the GTA, so that's through the morning commute. Temperatures rising to about 9 or 10 degrees by midnight, but then falling back to 3 degrees by morning, and we will sit at 2-3 degrees throughout the day. We'll have more sunshine late Friday. Saturday, mainly sunny in the high of 6 degrees, and then overnight into Sunday morning, watching for some showers. Could be mixing with some wet snow, especially over higher elevations through Sunday morning, and then on and off showers throughout the afternoon. Sunday's high 5 degrees. Tonight, we are dropping to a low of 3 degrees.
Right now in downtown Toronto, some light rain showers. It is 8 degrees, and we've got identical conditions and temperature at Pearson Airport.
680 News Time, 10:23.
Did you know there's a fast way to send money abroad? It's called Xoom. 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 The money transfer app from PayPal that lets you send money abroad fast at amazing rates. Send money directly to bank accounts or for cash pickup at thousands of locations around the world. Don't go to the store and wait in line to send money. Download the Xoom app today and send money right from your phone. Money go Xoom.
The 680 News Insider Club. It pays to belong.
This week, you could win a $100 gift card to spend at La Presse. Choose from a wide variety of freshly made soups, sandwiches, salads, and more. Find a La Prep closest to you with over 20 locations across the GTA.
Visit 680news.com for your chance to win and to sign up for the Insider Club.
680 News Time at 10:24. This new segment brought to you by Alpine Credits. Well, 911 is supposed to be for emergencies, right? We all know that. Or do we? Clearly, some people don't get it. With another shocking misuse of the number here in the GTA. Here's a hint: being late, not an emergency.
All right, so you're in a taxi cab and you think you're going to be late for your train ride at Union Station? Yeah. And so what would you like an officer to do? Do you guys offer emergency ride services or not? An emergency ride service.
Peel Police say they received this call last month. The woman was given a talking to on when to actually call 911.
These assholes
no charges have been laid. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll check in with Richard Southern at the Business Center.
680 News Time, 10:25. Hello, Alpine Credits.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to switch from beer to white wine, and they did not approve. You will?
We only approve homeowners for loans, for renovations, consolidating debt, that type of thing.
Perchance rosé.
Oh, listen to your buddies, my friend.
At Alpine Credits, we try to approve all home equity loan applications, regardless of your credit, age, or income. Find out more at alpinecredits.ca. Alpine Credits. Homeowners get approved. Fiscal license 12616.
Hold on. 4 years. Yeah, I'm not reading that.
At Sonoma, there's something for every pizza lover. Create your own masterpiece with some of our vegan or vegetarian options that include our dairy-free mozzarella, our gluten-free multigrain dough, and our gourmet vegetarian toppings. Ciao, I'm Dominic Primucci, and I invite you to taste the difference.
10:26 at the Business Report. Richard Southern.
Good evening. Interesting news here. We're big news, in fact, from Google. It says it's no longer going to allow political advertisers to target voters based on their political affiliation. It's a move that will surely increase pressure on Facebook to do the same. What's more, Google says it's going to explicitly ban doctored videos and images which are known as deep fakes. Technology is so good now, you can have a video that looks like someone saying something that they didn't in fact say. It's a big issue, and Google looking to outlaw that. Google stock little change, $1,300. Facebook stock up 0.25%, getting close to $198 US the share. A big day for Canada stocks on Bay Street. These are stocks that have been in the middle of an 8-month sell-off. Almost 2/3 of their value has gone up in smoke. But some analysts now saying the bottom has been reached. Inter4 Financial says the floor has been put under these stocks after 4 of the biggest missed earnings expectations last week. Greg Taylor with Purpose Investments.
This is really a time of year with tax law selling being completed normally in the middle of November that we've had a lot of people that got out of the stocks. The earnings last week were horrific, so that could have been a lot of capitulation selling. And then now we've got a bit of some good news coming, mainly south of the border, and that's got people mainly coming into the stocks and a bit of a short squeeze happening too. So we've had a fairly bounce in the last few days, and I think the big question will be to see if this is sustainable or really just a bounce back from a really oversold level.
Shares of Aurora up to $4.14. Canopy closing up more than 15% at $27.03. The TSX though fell 6 points. 27,000.